Now, this week's Democrats, along with Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, raised concerns about Republican-led lawsuits targeting overseas and military voters. Those lawsuits were filed in multiple battleground states, including North Carolina. And joining me to talk about it is Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes. And Khalif, the basis really here for this lawsuit is from the Republican National Committee, is that people who have never lived in the state would be able to vote.
That is their argument, and we got to step back a little bit further. Michael Whatley, North Carolina's own, is heading up and chairing the RNC right now. And so I looked at probably an unhealthy amount of videos of him talking over the last 5 or 6 months. I looked at one in April particularly where he talked about that we need to have 175,000 registered volunteers to be at polling locations. But he says it's a two-front strategy. He said we want to work with legislators, we want to work with governors, but in places where they won't work with us to make sure that the rules are right, we'll sue. He proudly said we have 82 lawsuits in 24 states at that time. Well, we know North Carolina's had about 15 lawsuits since then. This lawsuit being one of them, North Carolina, Michigan, and Pennsylvania being included. He's claiming that they're violating the Uniform and Overseas Citizen Absentee Voting Act. This was enacted by Congress in 1986. And he's saying that because you're allowing folks to register to vote who have never, ever, he states, touched the state of North Carolina, but somehow they're overseas but allowed to vote, he says that's problematic. The pushback from the State Board of Elections is this has been law in our state for 13 years. The federal had their side. Our state enacted something very similar 13 years ago. His question was, why now start talking about this after early voting starts today, but after absentee ballot voting started way before this lawsuit?
Can this have an impact on the election, though, going forward in any way? Will there be a decision before November 5th?
I highly doubt there will be any decision that will affect this, and it goes back to what Whatley said. He says we have both small-term and short-term goals, and explicitly said even if our goals of changing and making sure some of these rules are perfect the way we need them to be for this election, we're laying the foundation for the next election. So he says we'll continue to sue. He's a lawyer, highly educated, got his law degree from Notre Dame. So he recognizes that there's a short game and a long game. The short game is that we hope that some of these cases will be settled before the election. But he's understanding that if they are not settled before the election, that we're laying the seeds, we're laying the foundations for the future.
For the future of litigation after the election coming up November 5th.
100%.
All right. You said it right there. That's it. 100%. Chief Legal Analyst Khalif Rhodes, and something for both of us to look forward to on election night and afterwards as well.